I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. We are being broadcast live and recorded, so I need to ask if anyone else is making a recording of this meeting. Okay. First item on the agenda is a public hearing that's continued for the Masad Family LLC at 58th Avenue. Is there a motion to reopen this hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Is someone here to address this? Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Joseph Simon. I represent Diamond Auto Group, Massive Family Trust. I'm the general manager at the store. We met with the planning board last night, and we asked for a continuance till January 14th, which they granted us. And we have a lot of stuff going on with the engineering due to the reports that came back and everything. So we are looking to move forward with the plan. We are working with Waterman Design Group, and we need a little more time to get everything in order for you to present.
Okay. So what do you propose?
Well, I was watching the planning board meeting last night, and I heard what you had to say. And I just wanted to make it clear that the Conservation Commission has not made any decisions on this matter. We had a discussion in August with your design engineer, who brought a concept to us about moving the road over and asked us what we generally thought. And the consensus among the board was that it was a step in the right direction, and it would be something that we could probably permit under the regulations. But last night you said that we made you move it, and that's not true. And you also said that this has been going on for 2 months. It's our understanding that the engineer has not been engaged in this. So I guess I'm kind of wondering, when do you anticipate that you're going to be ready to move forward?
Well,
What's a realistic date for us to continue it to?
with the planning board, they gave us till the 14th of January to get all our ducks in a row and present a valuable plan to them, which is, I spoke with Waterman Design today and Mr. Massad, and they were both in compliance that we could definitely get you a definite plan by the 14th of January. So I don't know when the commission meets again.
Well,
After that.
let's talk about the dates here. Now, we only meet, as does the planning board, once in November and once in December. Planning board meetings are on the second and fourth Tuesdays. Ours are on the second and fourth Wednesdays. So the thing I have, if you want us to continue it the same week as the planning board meeting, you're looking at the 15th, which is the day after they meet, and nothing's going to happen at the planning board meeting because they're going to wait to see what we do. So I don't know if a date earlier works for you.
How much earlier, Ms. Wesson?
Well, when do you realistically think you can have your plans done? Do you think you can have them done for the meeting we have in December?
What is the date again? I'm sorry.
Sheila?
The 11th.
December 11th?
I don't think we'll be able to have them done
Okay.
by then. I don't.
All right, then we'll have to go, so it would be, I'm assuming it's January 15th, if the planning board is the 14th, and ours must be the 15th, right?
I thought Adam had mentioned to me something that you were supposed to have everything straightened out with conservation. I don't know if he realizes that we're only meeting once a month either.
I'm not sure, and
He
I
said that
apologize because I
last
didn't.
Okay.
I do apologize about that because I didn't know that we met after either
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always, they meet the second and fourth Tuesday, we meet on Wednesday, and Adam did bring up last evening that he thought that our schedule was the same as theirs, with only one meeting in November. And one in
It's not though, because actually we will meet in January on the 8th and on the 22nd.
The
Oh,
8th?
the
Yeah,
8th?
because January 1st is on a Wednesday.
Okay,
Oh,
That would be fantastic.
okay.
okay.
We could definitely have it done by the
Alright.
8th.
All right, so January 8th?
Yes.
Now, it's going to have to go back to the peer reviewer, too.
Yes. I spoke with Mike Scott today, and he made that clear.
Okay. So if you could do, anything you could do to get it in prior to January 8th so that it has time to go to the peer reviewer to get a reply back?
When do you think is ample time?
Well, I'm not really sure, but, I just hate to see you waste your time. I mean, if you submit something to us and you get it to us on January 8th, then it's going to have to go to the peer reviewer, so we're looking at the second meeting in January. I'm just trying to think of your timelines, that's all.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. We basically have it down with Waterman, what we're looking to do, and I don't think it's a huge issue at this point with them as far as getting, we kind of reviewed everything, what happens with the Old Faith Ave, and
Right.
that was our big concern, is what's going to happen with Old Faith Ave, because we have to take a portion of our lot for 2 years, basically, that we're not gonna have access to for a little bit of time. So we had to put all that into consideration in our plans too. So, you know, I feel that we can get it done before then and make this thing work.
Well, hopefully you're able to expedite the process so that, it will make your time to wait shorter. I mean, we've been trying to work with you and, you've asked for all these continuances and so we're trying our best to facilitate the process. I mean, obviously if you don't get anything to us until January 8th, it's going to go to the peer reviewer and it's going to sit for 2 more weeks. So the planning board's going to sit.
That's not our intent. So we will try our best to get this done as soon as possible, definitely.
All right. So then you're asking for a continuance until
Yes, ma'am.
January 8th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Is there any other discussion on this? I should ask first, is there any public comment on this before we continue it? Okay, none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
It'll probably be at 7 o'clock. Did anyone want to specify a time?
project?
Yeah,
I
that's
was gonna
fine.
ask that. Nobody's got a motion, didn't
Yeah.
specify a time.
That's right, it didn't specify a time, so another motion, please.
Just state that.
I'd like to make a
Sorry.
motion to continue this till 7 PM on January 8th.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Thank you.
All
All
right.
right,
Thank
so
you.
January 7th, January 8th
January.
at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Thank you very much. Have a great
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay, and we have a little bit of time before our next hearing. I know, is Leonard Engineering here? Oh, okay, sorry. Then, I think you would ask him to come in for 7, Sheila, right? Why don't you come up and join us? I don't know, Bill, did you want to come up too? Sure. This is on the requested amendments for the Pappas Recreation Site. I was watching, as you know, the meeting last night, and before you start your presentation, I just want to point out logistically our situation.
Sure.
Unfortunately, we were not made aware of the request to amend anything until the very day of our meeting on the 9th of October, which meant we could not add it to the agenda, so we could not vote on any action. Because under DEP Policy 85-4, if there's a request to amend a plan, to amend an order of conditions, you have to advertise to reopen the public hearing and amend it through a public hearing process. So we couldn't vote to do that.
Okay.
So, because if we had gotten it a little sooner and could have put it on the agenda under the open meeting law, then we probably could have had a hearing tonight on it. But unfortunately, we're in a discussion phase.
Sure.
I just wanted to bring that to your
And
attention.
I appreciate that. I think right now, fortunately, we're actually in a pretty good situation regarding timing of the project. With the winter months coming up, that there's no real urgency that the commission act that quickly. So I think we have time, so that's good. Good to
Okay.
hear. And as you're aware, we went to the planning board meeting last night. They did amend the plan from their perspective, considering a minor amendment. And just for the record, Bill Coyle's, Corey Broda. Corey is with Leonard Engineering. They've been doing the engineering for the project. I believe on the original plan for the Pappas recreational facility, we had a playground shown adjacent to the concession area, and I believe it was 40 feet by 40 feet.
And I gotta tell you, we can't find the notice of intent from our file, because I don't recall a playground being on the original notice of intent. But it was on the planning board plans, but I don't recall it, and we can't find our file
Sure.
copies.
In either case, the area that we were proposing originally was in the area where the picnic tables are. When you're looking at the concession building, it'll be to the right. They kind of have a grill set up there now. It's very limited space currently. We had also discussed potentially putting the playground beyond the outfield of the softball field. On the screen, you'll see that's to the top right. You can see the grass area in that location. There was concerns discussed about the close proximity to the houses, also to Curtis Street as well. The concern with Curtis Street was that people would park on Curtis Street to go to the playground and cut through some of the neighborhood properties. So after looking at the options, there is an upland area behind the performance pavilion and opposite the concession building. I think you had pointed it out correctly when you were discussing it last week. And that upland area allows us an opportunity to build a playground in a very centralized location behind the performance pavilion, in the middle of all the fields, so when your parents are there watching the games, the kids could go in that area and not be off to the corner of the facility. So it is centrally located. The proposed grading would not fill any wetlands. The grading, it's fairly flat out there in that particular area, and the top of the playground area, the grade changes are less than a half a foot in that particular area. The lower section in the area towards the site drive is where there's probably more of a grade change. I think it's up to close to 2 feet in that area, and we have to build a handicap accessible sidewalk to connect to the existing sidewalk on the facility. So there is some grading towards the front. But we are trying to maintain the grade as much as possible, and we would completely surround the work area with hay bale silt fence. And this particular playground is 90 feet by 50 feet. It's a rubber surface area, and I think Corey Broder has also provided hydraulic calculations for the runoff, and you can probably explain that a little bit as well. But essentially, there's a trench shown, a stone trench shown for a collection system, and Corey can certainly add to that or anything that I might have missed, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, I mean, the idea, we wanted to make sure we still met the stormwater standards when we did it, so we still meet all the performance standards for that, water quality, and you know, so we took the whole site into consideration when we did that too. So the impervious areas and the increase, you know, is about a little over 3,000 square feet, which amounts to about 2% of the entire impervious area of the project now. So we feel that's a small increase in impervious area. Scope has not changed for the project. These are just things to consider when they're considering either an amendment or a new notice of intent. Purpose of the project is the same, so we feel like you know, we're not filling any wetlands, so we're not adding to any impacts of the resource area. So. In a nutshell,
If you have any
what we're doing.
specific questions, we'd be happy to try to answer them.
What's a poured rubber play area or play surface?
Do you have that?
Exact.
Drawing?
Actually, the planning board took that
Oh,
yesterday. So.
It's not the same material that's used at the high school and the track at the high school, is it?
It's
Something like that?
Because in some of our walks around there, we found excess material where it shouldn't have been.
I know it's harder than, I'm pretty sure it's harder than that. It doesn't really break up, like, it's not a,
So is it? I
Does
mean,
it look like wood chips?
no.
Oh.
It's a solid surface, so
Oh, it is,
it's
solid,
yeah.
okay.
Do
Because
you know
the
how it's
church where I
applied?
go, they made one and they had.
I don't know
those
the details of
Okay.
exactly how it's made.
I mean, is it, you know, is it in a, I would assume it's in a hot state before
Yes,
it's poured?
yes.
I'd have to check, like I can't,
Okay,
I haven't seen it actually installed.
right.
But it's not loose.
I'd be guessing if I tried to answer that.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's coming as a rubber mat that's gonna be laid down. I don't think it's not gonna be a liquid that they're gonna pour, but I'd have to confirm that.
It
All right.
sounds like that though, where they said a poured rubber.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
It sounds like you make
Yeah.
a frame or something and you.
Yeah,
We can get back to
There's
that
someone in the
later,
audience
so.
that may be able to shed some light on this.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I do.
Sir?
I'm Jeff
Jeff
Labonte.
LeBlanc.
I'm on the Friends of the Pappas Recreation Complex, and we've been meeting with the playground folks. And it is a poured rubber surface. As far as whether it's hot or not, I don't believe it's, you know, like bubbling asphalt kind of hot.
Mhm.
It is a poured rubber surface. There's no granulation to it at all, even
Okay.
after 10, 12 years of use. There would be a curbing poured around the playground area.
Yep.
Which would be inside the 90-50 area, which they were trying to permit. It would be actually as a buffer around that. And then they pour it in, and that contains it into this space, and then it hardens up or solidifies.
I mean, I'd like to
it.
see the specs. I'd like to know how
Sure.
long it takes to cure and that sort of thing.
We can get that information.
Yeah.
And
So this isn't in the wetland, but it's certainly within the buffer
It's
zone.
close.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
definitely buffer zone
It's-
too.
It's
It's
all
right
closed.
next to it, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is right next to it.
Yeah, like the close, it's about 4 inches above the spot grade, right at that closest point at the elevation. At
So in
lot
the
line,
area
so
where
it's
we're
not-
working that, 5-6 feet away with the playground itself, the elevation change is about 4 inches, so it's not significant change. But we'd be happy to get the specs for you.
Now, have you already been through these hydraulic calculations, Bill?
I have not
You have
reviewed
not?
them at this point. No.
Okay.
But I don't expect, considering the very minor increase in volume, I think we certainly had, I don't foresee a problem, but it's not a significant change. But we certainly need to review them still.
I just wish I had the notice of intent to know if the plan that we had was in the original filing, the playground. I just don't recall it being part of the original at all.
Neither do I.
I remember reading months later in the newspaper about the Friends Group raising funds for a playground, but I don't recall it being in the original notice of intent. But I hate to rely on my memory. You know,
It's been several years now, so.
Well, what's interesting is just looking at your plan, I mean, this would be the, I guess, the third location of the playground, right? I mean,
Yes.
Initially,
Yeah.
the initial playground was 40 by 40. That was approved by planning, it says in 2010, I don't know when. And then apparently, a revised plan was submitted for September 2010 that located it, some significant distance further near
That
28
was never approved.
28 Curtis Street, and now
Yeah.
you've got this, this new proposal.
I can check my records at my office to see if I have a copy of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that if planning approved it back in 2010, then, I mean, if we had, I'm assuming we had the same plan
Yeah, my
that
memory's.
the planning board had.
That's what I think so too. It's the same.
I don't know. I don't assume anything.
I understand that.
Yeah, the planning board plan does show that 40
I
by
know, but again,
40.
it's the planning board plan, not the Conservation Commission plan. I just,
Mm.
it's ironic that we can't find our file contents. You know?
What I would suggest is maybe, you're not under, because we're going
There's
into
no,
winter
there's
soon.
no urgency. I mean, obviously, we'd like to have approval just to know what direction we're moving in. I know that the Friends of the Pappas Recreational Facility spent a lot of time fundraising, which is important to note. They are the ones funding this project, and including the design. But we're not under any tremendous constraint that we need to get this approved in 4 weeks. So certainly, we have time to get whatever information you need and bring it back to you.
I know, I'm speaking for myself, I'd be more comfortable if you've had a chance to look at the hydraulic
Sure.
calculations, and I would like to see the specifications on the poured rubber surface.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, we're meeting once in November, so perhaps
Right.
that meeting.
The 13th.
That should
sound
work.
good?
Yeah, that'll work.
Well, so you're gonna wait until the 13th to, then we can see if you've got a copy of the notice of intent in your file, we can read what's in it.
Sure.
So you're gonna wait until the 13th to decide whether we're gonna amend the order or file new or something else?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Okay.
proposing.
Okay,
Well, I'll get a copy through the chair, I'll get a copy of the NOI, and we'll get that to Sheila
okay,
to provide to you.
all right. All right, so we'll plan on having you back on the agenda on the 13th of November.
Sounds good.
Okay, and hopefully we'll have all of our documentation we need so we can give you an answer.
Okay. We appreciate it.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'm sorry that we didn't have it ready for you.
That's okay. We appreciate the time.
Do you have to make a motion on that, or?
Is there a motion to put them on the agenda on the 13th?
So moved.
I'll second that.
All those in
7
favor?
o'clock?
Aye.
Yep.
7 o'clock, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good
Good
night.
night, Bill. Good night, Corey.
Bill, are you gonna stay for,
Oh, yes.
can you stay for a minute?
Is that up next?
We got another hearing at 7:15 we gotta do, but
You want to do this one? Which one's going first? Do we have the subdivision Camden next, or is
no,
that?
we have a
Mine.
scheduled public hearing at 7:15.
Yeah, I'll stay.
Can you
I'm gonna
stay?
step out for a minute and
All
I'll
right,
come back.
thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate that. Okay, the next item on the agenda was a 7:15 public hearing for Reliant Medical Group relative to 31 to 35 Millbury Street. Is there a motion to open that hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Good evening.
Hi everyone, my name is Hildy Karpwich. I'm from Kelly Engineering Group and I'm representing the client Reliant Medical today. Are you sure?
Yes, I am. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Bear with me, I have a little bit of a cold, so
That's quite all
hopefully
right.
I'm understandable. This is a 9.7 acre lot that currently contains a Reliant Medical building. It's along Mass Turnpike and Bancroft Street, but the address is 31 Millbury Street, which is, it doesn't have any buildings on it, but it's this portion of the lot over here, and this is 35 Millbury Street. In July of 2013, there was a small area drain right here that started ponding up, flooding, and it was getting towards our door. They were having a lot of drainage problems, and there are several area drains throughout the property that just weren't draining whatsoever. So the applicant ended up replacing a lot of the pipe, I think from approximately, we're not exactly sure where it was cut, but approximately this area. They cut the pipe and replaced the pipe from here to there, replaced the drain manhole, and they raised the invert a little bit going into the wetlands because it was getting clogged up because it was a little bit too low and in the actual water, and so they redesigned it a little bit, and they added some riprap in this area for some stabilization. On their last day of construction, somebody apparently noticed that they were doing the construction in the wetlands, so this was brought to the attention of the commission, and an enforcement order was issued. This one I'm a little bit unclear on, but I think it was mailed to the owner's name, who is in Chicago, so they never opened the order, and it was just lost in the shuffle of everything somehow. So we filed it a little bit late, but hopefully this will be good. So they ended up hiring us and Ecotech. Ecotech is, they have wetland scientists, they do a lot of,
We're very familiar with Ecotech.
oh, okay, great. So he ended up inspecting it on September 17th, flagged the wetlands, and made a report of recommendations of what they can do to fix up the wetlands. Some of the alterations include they made a trench in right below downfall of the flared end section at the end here, and a lot of the trench material was put into spoils piles along this area. So I just checked it out earlier tonight, even though it's pretty dark. There's just piles of dirt and vegetation and whatnot in this area. This is the rutted area. It looks like it might have had a small machine go through it. It's a little bit bumpy, and then this is the vegetation trampling area where it looks like things have been flattened a little bit. So Ecotech recommend. Notes are stuck here a little bit. So Ecotech made a few recommendations, and this includes, well, the developed areas, they seem to be fine, they seem to be stable. The pavement was returned to its original condition. The trench, he wants the spoils piles to be put back into the trench, either by foot or if there's a small machine that can go from the parking lot and
Reach from the parking lot?
right, but we plan to not put any small machinery in the wetlands, just to keep everything out of there this time. Put top 6 inches of a little stone swale to make sure that there isn't any erosion. It doesn't look like there has been an erosion problem lately, but we want to make sure that that keeps up. And then finally, cover it with a biodegradable erosion control blanket and revegetate the area. The rutted area, it was suggested to hand rake the area, cover that with another erosion control blanket, and then, revegetate that area as well. In the vegetation trampling area, it was suggested to push the shrubs upright whenever possible. Obviously, it's not going to be possible on all of them. And he gave a list of planting recommendations, which are in the report. I won't list them all to bore you guys, but And we were hoping to get the enforcement order lifted whenever certificate of compliance can be issued.
I mean, when an order of conditions, when we issue the order of conditions.
That will work, yes.
All right, does anyone have any questions? I know it's after the fact and all the work is done, and Ecotech did have a pretty good list of recommendations in their October 1 letter that's in the packet.
Who was the contractor that did the original work?
I'm not sure of that.
It was a plumbing company from Worcester, I forgot the name of them.
Oh,
Wasn't it Gustafson?
Gustafson Plumbing, that's it, thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Questions? No? Any public comment? No? Okay, if there aren't any questions, is there a motion?
Make a motion to close.
I'll second.
Okay. There's a motion to close in a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. All right, I don't know, I'm sure we'll do our decision before the evening. Does the board want to make a motion now about the enforcement order? Do you want to do it when you do your order? Okay. All right, so we will respond to this and we'll advise you about the enforcement order.
Okay, great, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Hildy, if you wanted to call me tomorrow, I can tell you what's happening, okay?
Great, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Don't look at the clock.
I apologize. Okay, the reason I asked Bill if he could stay was we have a matter to discuss relative to Camden Woods subdivision. Mr. Boisclair,
Yes.
why don't you come up? Bill, do you want to join us too?
Sure.
I don't know if anybody's been watching planning board meetings or anything, or been selectmen's meetings, but Mr. Boisclair, as you might recall, a subdivision called Camden Woods over off of Brook Street. I don't recall how long ago the filing was, but he's looking to have his street accepted as a public way at the town meeting this coming Tuesday. The planning board, through Mr. Coyle's been working with Mr. Boisclair, correct me if I'm wrong, to come up with a punch list of things that, from a planning board perspective, that needed to be addressed before it went to town meeting. The selectmen did have their layout hearing on October 15th, and they approved the layout, but it was left that the planning board, it's a planning board sponsored article to accept the street. So it's been left that the planning board, all the items on the punch list had to be completed before the planning board would allow the article to move forward at town meeting. And from watching the planning board meeting last night, I know that there's two or three things that are still on the list, and the planning board right now is having a meeting at 6 o'clock before town meeting at 7 o'clock on Tuesday to see if all of the items on that current punch list are done. But over and above that, we have an outstanding order of conditions on that project. And so Mr. Boisclair has applied for a certificate of compliance. There was an as-built plan done, but from watching the meeting last evening, Mr. Coyle, I'm going to ask you to explain to the board, if you don't mind, Mr. Boisclair.
Oh, no, not at all. He's,
If you could explain to the board the issue with that detention basin on the site.
Sure, through the chair. We've been working with Mr. Boisclair actually for probably a year now on different items, and as the time for the town meeting draws even closer, we're trying to wrap up any remaining items. And there are quite a few items that he has addressed in the original letters that we've provided, and even just verbal communications throughout the past year that he's completed and repaired. But we still have two remaining items. One in particular is regarding the detention pond. We do have a meeting scheduled tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock with Mr. Boisclair, with their engineer, their surveyor, myself, the assistant town engineer, and Jeff Mitchell, Assistant Director to go over any of the sewer issues. The main issue with the detention pond is the outlet control structure. It's just the orifices, the drilled holes in the side of that structure, which allows the water to leave the basin. Burton Engineering has done some revised calculations for a new layout of those orifices. The holes have been drilled or cut in the structure, but we have not received those revised calculations. We're supposed to get those tomorrow morning. The overflow spillway for the 100-year storm event is loamed and seeded in grass. It's stabilized. Typically, and even on the original plan, does show stone in the area, although not really called out. So unless you're adept at reading plans, you may not realize that those are stones, and it should be a stone-lined spillway. And it really should be a defined step where that occurs. What's happened is he has the elevation, apparently based on the survey, of the spillway, but it's a very gradual transition. It's loamed and seeded, and you really can't even see it when you go out there. So it needs to be modified. It's not a significant effort to do that. I think within probably half a day's worth of work with a backhoe, I think that can be done. It needs to be stone lined and be shown at the proper grades. It's going to require very close coordination with Mr. Boisclair and his surveyor and engineer, because he needs to build this. They need to be right behind him, locate it, and show it on the as-built plan, and then show the correct orifices. That as-built plan that was provided doesn't have that shown correctly. So that needs to be revised as well. And then there are other issues relative to the sewer system on the shut-off valves. We just want confirmation with the work that's been done. That's why Jeff Mitchell's involved with that as well. But we're assured by Mr. Boisclair that it has been done, but we want them unearthed on Brook Street in particular, just to make sure that what was proposed on the plans was actually constructed, because it's buried and we can't see it now.
Okay. So the only part of that, what you just talked about, that's really relevant to us would be the issue with the detention basin. So, and it's been a long time since I haven't been over there in years. So we typically make a site inspection. Sheila tells me she has a request from you for a certificate of compliance in writing.
Yes.
Okay. So the as-built plan that's on the table tonight is not, it's not correct, relevant to that detention basin.
That's correct.
Okay. And after your meeting tomorrow, would it be fair to say that you'd have some idea of knowing when a corrected as-built plan would be available?
Burton can tell us how soon they make the modifications.
Well, it's really
Yes.
going to depend on how quickly you can go in and make
the stone.
changes.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then, obviously, if you're going to a meeting and then going to spend the day at work tomorrow doing other things, it's not going to get done. So you need to
Right.
commit to being there, getting it
Right.
done, so that Burton can get in there right behind you, whether it's tomorrow, locate it, revise that plan on Friday, and get it back to us. Ideally, we would like to have that plan in hand on Friday.
And the town hall closes at 1 o'clock
1
on
o'clock.
Friday, just so you know.
Right.
And we're bringing this to the board tonight for discussion, and we typically make a site visit. I have no idea what anyone's schedules are, and, we have a condition in our order of conditions that requires an as-built plan.
Right.
So we can't issue a certificate of compliance without it. And we have to make a site visit to make sure that the other things relevant to conservation are completed as well.
Understandable.
And then there's the issue of having to get it voted on. So I guess I'm kind of looking for some thoughts from other board members as to, the processing here. I mean, we could meet like the planning board at 6 o'clock on Tuesday night before town meeting to make a decision. I mean, 3 of us are town meeting members anyways, 4 of us. 4 of us are town meeting members. So, I mean, we're going to most likely be at town meeting anyway, so I don't know what your pleasure is. I don't know what you want to do.
Why so last minute? I mean, with all due respect, I don't know how long. When did you file your request to have the road declared a public way or accepted by the town? Do you remember?
June 1st.
Okay. So, and again, this is not intended as criticism, but we're being asked to jump through a lot of hoops to get this done. for you by next Tuesday. And, you know, I mean, our meetings are posted, you know, regularly scheduled, and as Ann said, you know, we're gonna have to jump through a lot of hoops ourselves to see if we can, to make sure that, that what is constructed, you know, complies with an as-built plan that we haven't seen yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I just, I kind of question the timing about this. You know,
Yeah.
and I, for one, I wouldn't approve or issue a certificate of compliance without doing this site inspection and without seeing the as-built. I mean, you know, that just, that's nuts.
Right.
Well, it's a condition of the order anyway, so
I
I don't,
understand.
you know, and the other thing is, you know, I happened to be at the last selectmen's meeting last week on the 15th for another reason. And I had heard at the prior selectmen's meeting that they were going to schedule a layout hearing, and I truly meant to speak to Adam Burney to bring up our order of conditions issue with you, but I forgot, and I didn't remember until that night when I was at the selectmen's meeting and they had the layout hearing on their agenda. And then I spoke to Adam to bring this to light, because we needed, you know, we're part of this too, and planning board's site plan, their subdivision approval has a condition in it that's, I don't know the exact wording anymore, but it has something to the effect that, you know, all of the other board's permits have to be complied with in order for their process to be complete as well. So, as far as I can see, we have to do something before Tuesday, or, you know, or we're gonna be doing something at town meeting, and it's been suggested that, you know, we accept pending receipt, and I, for one, will not vote for that.
No, I won't either.
You know, we've been down this path before, been there, done it, it doesn't work. We've been burned before in the past on town meeting floor, and, you know, speaking for myself, I will not support it. I will not
Certainly,
support it.
through the
Yeah.
chair, it would be cleaner to accept it with, if everything is
Done.
completed.
Right.
Because we do have a lot of roads out there that have been accepted with conditions, and conditions never met.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So that's why, you know, I mean, I'm always willing to try to help to the extent that we can, but I mean, it's Wednesday. It's supposed to rain tomorrow. You know, you got a meeting at 9 o'clock, I don't know how much physical work you're gonna get done, it's Friday. You know,
And if it's raining, it's gonna be even worse, so.
exactly.
I would, be so inclined to say that, most likely this work probably won't be completed by Saturday, so
Right.
I'm thinking that,
Well, I think that would be your choice, if there's something that can be done, if you can get the work done. I think the commission is saying they're willing to consider it. I know the planning board has gone out of their way and then to try to accommodate you, and
very much
so I think, you know, certainly the town is trying to do what we can do to
To
get
help.
this approved,
Right.
but obviously we're not the ones doing the work in the end.
Right, and I know that it's a concern of the residents in the subdivision too, because, you know, there's been some issue, I know, with icing and other issues over there, and, you know, we don't want to sacrifice anyone's safety, obviously, but, you know, we have a job to do, and we have rules to follow, and we're just trying to do our job, that's all. You know, and it's, you know, we've got 6 days, five and a half.
Yeah, it's cutting it
You-
close.
You would have to get the work done on that overflow by Saturday before the site inspection.
Right, we'd have to make a site visit sometime between Saturday and Monday night, and we'd have to have a meeting on Tuesday, or unless, the other thing I thought of was, typically site visits don't have to be posted as meetings because you're only making an observation, you're not making a decision. But were we to make a decision in the field, we would have to post the meeting at which we were going for a site visit. So, I don't know, but that would have to be posted by, actually, you know what, it's too late. Short of Monday,
Yeah,
because
it'd
of the
have to be-
48-hour
you'd have to meet
requirement.
on Monday.
Doesn't count Saturdays and Sundays. So
And realistically, if he's gonna get this work done for Saturday, his surveyor and engineer need to show this on a plan on Monday.
right,
And so, town meeting is Tuesday?
Tuesday at 7 o'clock.
Tuesday.
Mhm.
So you
I
can either
could
meet,
post the meeting.
right,
We either meet Monday or we
Tomorrow.
meet Tuesday.
Monday or
Right.
Tuesday,
Right.
right.
I could
Right.
post the meeting tomorrow,
It would,
even.
Right, we
so
could post
we'd
it
be in
tomorrow and
time,
meet Monday or
if you meet, you
Tuesday.
meet.
I
If you
mean,
don't, you
It would
don't.
be cleaner to do it on Monday, I think, rather than do it right before town meeting.
Do it and post it so we can go on a site visit on Monday, is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying post it so that we meet on Monday, assuming that the work is done and we have an as-built plan to look at.
Right, but you're still gonna wanna do a field visit, right?
I'm saying we do well, you're right. So the question is, can you get the work done by Saturday or Sunday? I mean,
But I guess it probably depends what happens tomorrow with what we come up with for a remedy of the outflow structure. And I think I can have the stones completed, but I think with the outflow structure, we may be having to take the top off and maybe grade it.
I think it's
Well,
certainly doable.
Now, is
but
the
I'm not the
outflow-
one doing the work.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, is the outflow gonna be precast or is it gonna just be riprap?
Well, there's an outflow structure.
It is a
that's
structure
there now.
Precast.
Oh, it is, but
That's
where?
already there,
Okay,
yes. And everything is, on the basin itself has been constructed for quite some time, and it's long been seeded and stabilized.
right.
This doesn't have a defined spillway constructed, it needs to go in there with a backhoe and do a riprap spillway.
Okay, so that has to be done not more or less by hand or with machines?
With a machine, with
Yeah.
a backhoe.
Okay,
I wouldn't, to me, I'm thinking that it probably wouldn't be more than 4 hours worth of work to do that work.
okay.
So I don't see significant construction work that needs to be done to complete this.
Mhm.
It's just the timing of everything. He needs to get his surveyor and engineer out there as soon as it gets done.
Right.
But we need the commitment from the contractor, and then certainly
Right.
the more time that he's afforded to get this done, you know, we've got a chance of him getting it done, or his engineer providing us with the documentation. I mean, I suspect he's probably not gonna have the as-built revised for Saturday morning. I think
Right,
that
I don't think so either.
that's more likely. If he had the day, either Monday, he could still complete and get that to us. I don't see a lot of work reviewing that, and we've spent so much time on this, there's not much left that needs to be tweaked on this plan. So it's not gonna take days to review this. I think in an hour of our time, we should be able to get the review completed and a revised as-built.
Well, and then again, too, besides that, hopefully we don't find any issues from our order of conditions, like erosion or,
Right.
you know, anything else that needs to be addressed.
Mhm.
You know, I guess I have a couple of thoughts. I mean, the hard part is it's dark now, so early. It's hard to like post a site visit meeting for Monday, because I know some, like, I know a couple of board members that wouldn't be able to get here probably until it was 7 o'clock. It'd be dark.
Right, be dark out.
Right. And,
You wouldn't do a site visit on Saturday?
The work would probably be done that what Mr. Boyce has to get done for Saturday. So it's
well,
just the
that was my other
plans.
thought.
Right.
If we do our site visit on Saturday, so we have time to look, post a meeting at 6 o'clock on Tuesday and take a vote, yes or no, like the planning board's doing, you know.
I don't know if you'd want to meet the exact same time or stagger it at
I don't know.
5:30 or 6:30. I just don't know if you want it, would you have them at the same time? Because I guess you could, he just wouldn't.
We wouldn't meet in the same room. I mean, we have.
Well, he wouldn't, he'd have to pick which one he's going
Oh,
to go
I
to.
gotcha. Sorry. Wasn't thinking you can't divide yourself in half.
Yeah. Oh, planning board wasn't gonna go before Tuesday?
No, they're meeting 6
6
o'clock
o'clock on
Tuesday.
Tuesday night.
That's why we may want to meet on Monday.
On
instead.
Monday, all right, that's right.
Right.
All right.
All right, so if we go on the site
Town hall's
visit on
open till
Saturday, meet
7
on
Monday.
7 o'clock on Monday night?
Well, I just said the town hall's open till 7 Monday, so
That's
you
true.
never,
Is there any meetings in here Monday night?
oh, I don't.
Board of Health, maybe?
Have to check with, now, Board of Health, I don't think has a meeting, they had
There's a
one last,
selectmen's meeting
I
Tuesday.
think they do
I mean,
meet.
Monday.
yeah, they don't meet in here,
No, but I'm just saying,
yeah,
that room wouldn't be available if this one's tied up.
yeah. I'm pretty sure the
We
Board of
could
Health
meet in the
doesn't
cellar
have a
with the
meeting.
rodents.
They just have
No,
one.
thanks.
Hmm?
Could meet them.
Meet upstairs.
Or right over there.
It's not handicapped.
It's not handicapped accessible.
Are they met this week?
Board of Health already met this.
Oh, okay, so then it should be free. Let's hope so. So do you want to do that? Do you want to we want to go on a site visit on Saturday?
Sure.
Which actually I just thought of, I have a conflict, so, but you guys can go.
I should be able to do the site visit. I
Oh, was
can't
it?
meet on Monday though.
You can't meet on Monday.
I work evenings.
Okay.
I'll be around.
I mean, I guess I could find a way to get myself over there before the weekend.
The work's not gonna be done until Saturday, is that correct?
No, but I need the order of conditions so I can look at the conservation issues.
Well, okay. We're talking in generalities here. When can we expect the work to be done? Do you think it'll be done by Saturday morning? Should we try to schedule something for Saturday afternoon?
Well, depending on what happens tomorrow morning at the meeting, there might be other things that that have to be addressed, so I may have a lot to do.
Right.
So I can't really give you a positive 100% yes,
Okay.
I'd be going overboard. But if we can I'm sure someone can call someone Friday night just to let you know whether it's completed or not. I mean,
Well, let me
Bill
know
would-
Friday
yeah.
by 4 o'clock on Friday,
Bill
and then
can
I
send
Yeah,
emails
Bill
to
would know,
everyone.
and,
Right,
yeah,
I can get in touch with even Ann directly to let her
Yeah.
know.
right, whether it's a go or not, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm open on Sunday, but Saturday I've already,
So, which I guess raises the question that if you can't get the work done, then you're gonna have to pass the article on Tuesday.
The planning board, I think, is prepared to withdraw the article.
Okay,
Right,
Or postpone indefinitely.
right, till the spring.
yeah.
till springtime meeting.
All right,
Mhm.
okay. Sounds
All
like a
right,
plan.
so we'll hear from someone on Friday evening.
I'll call you, let you
Okay.
know definitively one way or the other
All right.
by 4 o'clock on Friday.
Okay.
I will post the meeting for Monday at 7 or 6 or what,
I don't know if I can make it for Monday. We don't have a schedule.
I'll make it.
okay.
So, depending on
We
when
need a
Louise
quorum,
can
though.
make it.
We need a
I'll
quorum,
check.
exactly, and
What
I don't
time are we
know.
talking?
7.
Okay,
We'll try for 7, that's all we can do. I mean,
And-
I don't know about Louise, she's got a family situation, I don't know whether she'll be here. Dan will not be here, which means that the rest of us have,
I have a late meeting on Mondays, but I might be able to, I don't know yet. Depends on how the meeting goes.
all we
Sounds
can
like
do
you
is
could be a
try, I
tough one.
guess.
You
Yeah.
may have
If
better
it-
luck on Tuesday before town meeting then. It sounds like most everyone seems busy
Monday.
on Monday.
Well, I may not be there on Tuesday, because I don't have a schedule. And my
I've got a
hours
similar
are-
schedule on
are
Tuesday.
Flexible,
So you
shall
may
we
be in the
say,
same
so,
situation Tuesday.
so there's no definitiveness with that. I
We
mean,
could post for both days and cancel one or the other. I mean, we have to post by tomorrow. So why don't we post Monday and post Tuesday, and we
okay.
can cancel whichever one we don't use. At least that way they're both posted.
And I'll check and see what room's available.
Yep, yep,
And I'll just schedule it whatever room's available.
yep.
And,
7 o'clock, both nights.
no, not
No.
on
Tuesday will be,
Oh. Oh, that's right, because that's the, 6
Tuesday,
o'clock with whatever
Or we
room's
could do it,
available.
well, yeah, I mean, we meet here and then we have to go to the high school, so,
when we meet at the high school.
we would meet at the high
Oh.
school. So you could do that for 6:30 maybe on
Yeah.
on
The
Okay,
planning board's meeting at
6:30.
6.
school.
At the high school.
And my guess is if the punch list isn't complete for the planning
It's gonna be a
board, they're
quick
gonna pull it
meeting.
at 6 o'clock anyway.
well, just a suggestion through the chair, you may want to check with the town planner on what meeting room he is scheduled
Yeah.
for Tuesday at 6,
Yeah,
and post it for 6:30, because it's going to be a quick meeting.
Right,
We should,
okay.
it's either yay or no.
Right.
nay.
So have it in the same room is what you're saying?
I would, just for convenience.
Yeah.
and
Okay,
So
yeah, 'cause I don't know any.
if that works with the,
29th.
with the commission,
do you think posting at 6:15 would be a better?
6:15,
Okay,
like, yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna find out by Friday at 4 o'clock what the status is on the project. We're gonna go on a site visit Saturday or Sunday, maybe. We're gonna post meetings tomorrow for both Monday night at 7,
Yeah.
Tuesday at 6:15 at the high school. Monday night's meeting at 7 would be here. That's the best we can
That's all
do.
you can do, yeah.
That works.
It works and everything is
It works.
perfect, Mr.
Everyone,
Whistler.
what?
and you'll be
I
getting
wish-
in touch with them on
By
Friday
4
by
o'clock
us.
on Friday,
4
I'll
o'clock.
wait to hear from
Okay.
Jeff if he's
Right.
completed.
Okay. All right, hopefully we keep this all straight, so. All right, so is everyone in agreement on, pardon me?
In your computer
that's
brain.
fine.
Yeah,
All right,
where's my cell phone?
all right, so that's the best we can do, we'll just have to let the chips fall where they may.
Alright.
Okay,
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
all right.
Thank you, Bill. for
Okay,
coming.
you're welcome. I'll see you later. I'll
And
call
I'll
you.
talk to you on Friday.
Yeah, I'll call you on
Okay.
Friday.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Have a
Bill.
good night.
Good night.
Good night, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I think Sunday is going to work better for me as well, to be at work for 10 on Saturday.
I don't know what your schedule is, maybe we can talk about that
Yeah, we'll
after.
talk about it after.
Yeah,
It all depends on whether he can get the work done.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's,
Don't you worry about it.
You know, why at the last minute?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it was through his actions. I think it was an oversight on the staff side that caused the problem.
Yeah.
And their lack of awareness of
Another
a conservation
permit.
issue. And I think that's where the fault lies, unfortunately, not with the developer.
Mhm.
So, you know,
Apparently, the detention basin was built 6 inches too low, which is why the orifice, as installed, doesn't function.
Boy.
So that's what they're trying to remedy now. So, bylaw regulations. Now, I thought we were going to have Sheila do some research on neighboring communities' fees
Yep.
for bylaws, but I didn't see anything in the packet.
I have done, well, I've got them here, but I have not had time to, I was starting to do a spreadsheet with the different towns and what they do. I mean, I've got 5 towns here, so.
Okay.
And I've got ones that were close by, Worcester, Leicester, Sutton, Grafton, and Sturbridge. So I was gonna take those as I had started, that's about it. But,
Well, I mean, we set ourselves a deadline. We wanted to have,
The hearing before the end of the year, either on
yeah,
the 13th or the 11th of December.
that's right. And so, I mean, I suppose what we could do is, we could discuss these now and maybe have, and just, I mean, I don't know, and just looking at the fees, there are some that I think are higher than is probably appropriate for the town, but there are others that I think are in line with what we would be
Really, I
interested in
haven't seen
charging.
it.
It's in the regs.
Oh, the fees that we, yeah, the ones that
That we
are way
brought
too
from the
high,
meeting.
yeah. But I haven't seen any of her information.
I understand that.
yeah. Well, it just seems it's very confusing too, because then they've got, if it's a single family, it's so much, multifamily, it's so much,
right.
driveways, they've got every, like, area of the property broken down for a fee.
You're talking about
Waivers,
the-
they,
you're
yeah,
talking about the
different
ones you're
towns,
looking at,
yeah, like
not
Grafton,
ours.
yeah.
Yeah.
Written.
I mean, and then there's like so much, like Grafton has $100 per unit for a multifamily. It's $100 and $100 per each unit. You know,
For which? For filing a request for determination? For filing a
notice of intent.
For working in the, only in the buffer zone, or what?
No, I'm not sure yet.
Because these seem to have everything broken out. Now we don't have a buffer zone anymore because we made it a resource area. So, I don't know.
well, what are the fees that you consider too high, and what do you think is spot on, and then maybe we can
Here's
winnow
what
it down
I
from
think.
there.
The request for determination
$100
should
bucks.
be about $30 to $50. Because we don't want to discourage people from doing that. We want them to come in and go, it's a much shorter process, it's easier to do. But we gotta charge something.
Plus advertising, correct?
Oh, yes, advertising is outside
That's
of
on
that.
top of it.
Right.
But
That's my opinion on
I
that.
think
The resource
so, too.
area delineation probably in the same ballpark. I don't know, the notice of intent. I don't know. It should be more. I don't know if it should be this much more though.
It should be more than 150 for minor activities?
No, and more than a request for determination.
Okay.
So
So if you think 150 is too high, you could reduce it to 75 or 100.
right. You know,
Well-
I'm looking at the $1,000. I don't know.
Well, here's a question too. A request for determination of applicability cannot be used for a project in a resource area. So if a buffer zone is now a resource area, when are you going to use a request for determination? You know? I think that there are, I mean, if we can figure out a way to use it, then I think there ought to be a fee with it. But I think you're right, you can't charge more for a, you can't charge more for that than for a minor project on a notice of intent, I don't
Mhm.
think.
That's a good point about the request for determination. Think of that because usually it's all involving the buffer zone, but
exactly.
buffer zone is this, then
I mean, I guess it's the board's regulation, and if you want to, I suppose maybe you could amend the regulation and say that you're going to allow a request for determination for minor projects, and maybe specify minor projects like putting up a shed in the buffer, in what was a buffer zone, or a fence, you know, or maybe a deck, you know,
but do
something
we
like
even
that.
define buffer zone now? Do we define
I
that?
thought we did
Oh,
that.
yeah. Yeah, there is a
Because you're
definition
saying it's
for
part
that.
of the resource area.
Right, we include it as a resource area as opposed to leaving it as a true buffer zone. 'Cause under the state law, it's a buffer zone, it's not a resource area.
What is the benefit of changing the buffer to a resource
Idea.
area, I guess is the question.
Well, I think it came out of, you know, we used Needham's as a guideline, and we just kind of followed that and decided to include it.
No, I think that's one way around it. I think like you say, if it's a minor project, then I think we could revise it, revise the regulation that way.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a big issue, to be honest with you. I think that what we just need to kind of nail down, it's really one of the last things we need to do is to figure out what we're going to charge.
Right.
You know. So do you think you can maybe do an Excel spreadsheet for us?
Well, that's what I've started to do.
Okay, all right. And then we can, you know, come up with some fees. I mean, I'm sure we can work it out.
It'd be nice to know how the prices were chosen in the first place.
You know, I wish I knew.
Yeah,
don't say that
because
to the
otherwise
number.
it seems
Maybe
arbitrary.
Well, you know, I don't think it was. I mean, I think maybe you could talk to the MACC about it. Maybe someone at DEP can offer some guidance on that.
I typically try and look at how much time it takes to review a project. That's usually how they determine it for staff purposes, and that's something, again, I just want to bring up. If
That
we
makes
want to
sense.
bring somebody in at some point, you're going to need to look at what it's going to take to review these projects, because you're not going to have the peer review. You're going to have to support it from fees, so you're going to have to keep that, you know, and you guys know better than I how long and what's involved with that kind of thing. But
Yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense.
I did let Ed know a little bit about, you know, what we were thinking of doing, putting that money aside so it's not in a revolving account. And,
Yeah, what was his response?
well, we'll have to talk about it. You know, he's always busy,
I know.
but
Well, we have a meeting on November 13th. Do you want to try to get the spreadsheet done, discuss fees, finalize fees, and plan your hearing on December 11th?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I think the November meeting is really the last chance we have to square this away and get it
All right.
finalized.
and Sheila had mentioned when we were talking on the phone that she was having difficulty finding the perennial and intermittent stream definitions. I went on DEP's website and just tried to look, and it's not called out
Uh-huh.
that I could see, but I didn't have
I'm
5
shocked.
hours to look at it.
I
but-
am too,
Yeah,
because
well, I
it's right in
checked
front of
it.
the regulations, that they explain what a perennial stream is. They talk about credible, I'd have to look for it.
I
don't know.
checked CMR 310
Yeah, I looked at the
9.2
CMR
definitions.
too, and maybe that's
could
where I
not
went
find it.
awry. Maybe
Yeah,
I
you
should
don't
have
want
looked in the regs.
you want the actual, the statutory regulation, I think. Chapter 131, section 40. I
Right.
think that's where it is.
The CMR does have a lot of definitions,
And
though.
Right, right.
So that's,
But the statutory
I
regulation
can
is,
get you a copy of the statute,
yeah.
Can you?
It's
You
right on
bet I
DEP's
can.
website.
Thank you.
but it's also on DEP's website.
Right, it's right on the website.
well, I'll take a look.
All right, well, I'll look. It's 131.40.
Yep,
Yep.
that's the
All
over,
right.
you know, like we passed the bylaw and now we're writing regulations to promulgate that, to administer it? It's the same deal. The
Okay.
state passes a general law and then there are regulations to administer it.
Yeah.
But it's in, I believe it's in the actual body of 13140.
Okay.
And we want to work on calling out minor projects that, for the
Yeah,
buffer
I think-
area, which is now a
I think we would
resource
need to,
area.
if we're gonna allow minor projects in that buffer area on a request for determination, I think you need to put examples of, and then maybe make a caveat saying, or other projects as voted on by the board or
Yeah,
something.
you can,
You know,
exactly.
if somebody comes forward with something that we didn't think of,
Mhm.
and you really think it's kind of minor, then we could say, yes, we'll allow you to file that under a request for determination.
Okay.
Does that sound
It sounds reasonable.
fair?
Yes.
So we'll plan on the hearing on the 11th. Okay, in the past, since our last meeting, there's been an issue, I think it was brought through by Glenn Kravosky to Harry Kotzias that came to us relative to violations on the Mass DOT project over on 12 and 20, the strip that goes together.
Oh.
They sent some photographs with Glenn's email.
I pulled up
and
some stuff on our website, I
On the
emailed it
email?
over.
You had some photographs here too, where'd you get these from? Were these from
Those are the ones
Kravosky's?
that Glenn Kravosky,
Yeah.
I believe, sent, and I have them on the, I did,
And he did send these, and I was gonna call Bill Clarity at Mass DOT, but I forgot. Because Kravosky did send his email and his photos to Bill Clarity at Mass DOT. But clearly, I think there are some issues. So, I didn't realize that they were gonna use, you know that building that was Tom's Collectibles?
Yes,
They're using that kind of as a staging area. There's
Uh-huh.
heavy equipment out behind it.
I've seen it.
You know, so I didn't realize they were gonna be storing that equipment there, and the wetlands right there. And,
They didn't tell us.
right, and we have a condition that you can't store or
Yes, we
The
do.
refuel.
photos in the document? Oh, here
So
we
shall
go.
we issue them an enforcement order?
Based on the photographic evidence, I think, and what I saw when we drove by there the other day, I think there's some serious issues over there.
Yeah, I think so too.
Let's see what we got here.
That doesn't look good.
No. Colors are wonky. What's going on?
is it because you enlarged it?
I don't know. That's odd.
No, I don't think so.
What are the color of
Uh.
coffee? No.
Yeah, strange.
Well, he was talking about the turbidity of the water because of the erosion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something strange about the way these are displayed.
Yeah.
But in any case, wow, okay.
Yeah, interesting. No erosion control measures. Not properly installed.
Okay.
So what, doesn't DOT supervise? I wonder if they subbed out the work to.
That I don't know.
Those
well,
just
They haven't done
lie
a good
down
job.
there, the wattles, not staked?
That's a joke.
Well, I would move to issue an enforcement order against DOT.
Okay, do you want to enumerate some violations? Failure to
Yeah.
maintain erosion controls?
Failure to maintain erosion controls, among others. Storage of equipment within 100 foot of the resource area.
That's one of the conditions right in the order too.
Exactly.
I think it's either the second or third special condition. All right, that's a motion, there's a second. All those in favor of issuing an enforcement order?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll
Opposed?
abstain, because that's my employer, so.
Oh.
I think it's probably best that I not
Yes, I
have
didn't
a
even
party
think
to
of that.
this.
Didn't even think of that, Dan, sorry. Sheila, do you have a,
I'm
enforcement
looking.
order?
I knew she was gonna say that, and I was just, let me see, let me decide on that. I wonder what the heck this is. This is the one I want to know that.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, we've already talked about Camden Drive. New stuff, the Pappas thing, we've already talked about that. 404 Washington Street, Mike, Dan, and I went to 404 Washington Street was it a week ago Saturday.
Yes.
And I think Mr. Wade, didn't he send in a communication or something asking to remove the motion control? Nice.
Yes, yes.
He did, okay. Bless you.
Some gentleman called, the guy, the gentleman that's leasing the building there called, and Paula spoke to him, and he said he wanted to remove the hay bales. So I said, well, and he said that Mike wanted to remove them, so I called Mike just to double check, and he said, yes, he would like to clean up the site and get rid of those.
Right,
That it's all stabilized and everyone had gotten over there to see it, so.
Yeah, but he hasn't requested a certificate of compliance or given
No.
us an as-built plan.
So he has to do that prior to removing them.
Usually that's what we do, but
Okay.
I think his other issue is whether, you know, we're gonna be satisfied with the landscape as is versus what was approved in the order of conditions. So, I don't know what your thoughts were. I mean, it was pretty stabilized. But
Oh, yeah. I mean, but I think he has to, you know, we need an as-built plan for it. And it makes sense that he should do as part of a request for a certificate of compliance.
Okay.
yeah, he really needs to get that in.
First, then, so the hay bale should stay there until,
Right.
Until we
the
get the as-built
okay.
certificate of compliance request
Right.
is made.
So then we can just make a decision on the whole matter at one
Yep.
time. We've already been there for a site visit, so it shouldn't
Yep.
be too difficult. If you can get that in for the 13th, that would be good. And if you could just put it on the
Okay.
agenda. Maybe just keep it on the agenda so
okay.
yeah, we don't lose sight of it. We didn't, there were no enforcement orders until now, but pending minutes, there's no pending minutes of October 9th.
No, so you're off the hook. Did the letter go out to
Yes.
the mall?
Yes, it did. I haven't heard anything.
Okay.
I called, got the gentleman's name.
Can I just suggest, Sheila, when you mentioned that Dan was talking about the Simon Mall, that we just put a heading there? Because otherwise it looks like part of the regulations. See how it's lined up? If you could just put a Simon Mall or discussion or
Oh,
something.
here, okay.
And on the second page, under Pappas Rec, the second paragraph appears to be something different too. So if we could,
Yeah, okay.
you know, call out the street, 70 Berlin Street or something, I
Okay.
think that,
That's a good idea.
you know, so that it stands out.
Okay.
But other than that, I'd make a motion that we accept them as submitted.
Is there a
Unless somebody
second?
has something else.
I'll second that.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted.
Abstain.
Oh, Stan, I'm sorry. There is one other issue, Pinrock Road. It's not on the agenda, so you can't take any
It is on
action.
the agenda.
It is? Where?
Yes. Right above
Discussion.
Camden Drive.
Oh, it must be on that new agenda you gave out tonight.
Yep, it's for Stan.
Because it wasn't on my, when I had
Yeah.
my packet. All right, there's a plan that Sheila gave out. And from what I understand, John Stelmach filed for permit for this site. Is that right? And then subsequently sold the property?
Yes.
Okay. So the person that owns the property now is trying to build an access road and was gonna have it on the road on the left and then have to cross over the Tennessee Tennessee Valley gas pipeline.
That's the driveway to his house?
Yeah, can you
Yeah.
imagine?
Oh my god.
And the
How
gas
long is
pipeline
that?
people found out and said, no, you're not crossing over our pipeline. So the second road,
It's that's 100, it's 30 scale map.
Quarter mile, at least. Maybe.
Imagine plowing that in the winter. I'm sorry.
Anyways, so now we've got, what, there's nothing in writing here. Are we asking to amend the,
Well, I guess they just didn't know what they have to do.
Talk to an engineer. So I'm not clear here. They're
The yellow
proposing the
one-
yellow one?
No, the yellow one was the original, see it coming
Okay.
across the gas line. Now the green one is what is proposed.
Well, yeah,
So
and the
it goes
yellow,
across the wetland.
the yellow one was
Yeah,
theoretically
we filled it into
proposed
the
because
wetland.
of avoiding wetland.
Yeah, they want to fill in
Duh.
2,500 square feet.
so
Plus or minus.
they need to file,
Plus or minus.
They need to
Come
file
on,
notice of
guys.
intent, I think.
well, they already have a
There was
permit.
one.
Oh,
An
they-
amendment to it then?
They need to reopen the public hearing.
Plows right through the wetland.
Yeah,
They're gonna have to.
2,500
It's
feet.
not a
is
minor
I think
So
change.
it's an amendment, right?
We don't have a written request to amend. We
Right.
don't have a written request for anything.
Right.
Okay.
But I think that the board should tell them now, but, you know, open your public hearing and amend your notice of intent.
Do you know
Okay.
when we issued the order of conditions for this?
Don't know.
Yes. I know John, I think it's good until 2014.
Okay, but we don't know how long ago we approved it, right?
He got one extension, but I think it was just a year.
Alright, so it's on record at the
2010
registry.
maybe. Yeah, I think I have it right here.
So, I mean, Ann raises a really good point. They just submitted the plan and what do they want us to do with it?
I think they just wanted to know what they will have to
Well, who
do.
They
gave
should
you
con-
this? Who gave you this sheet?
They need to reopen.
We do
Can I
not,
make a motion?
Point.
no, we do not give advisory opinions.
Oh,
They should have
I'm
given us,
thinking it was the contractor.
well,
David
somebody should have given us
Meader.
a letter and said,
Yeah.
this is what's happened, we need to amend our plan. You know, we're asking to do this instead of that. And then we could have decided tonight, we're gonna allow them to amend or file a new notice of intent.
Yeah, September 11th, 2014 was the original.
I'll make a
I'm
motion
sorry,
that
that
we
was
send a
the-
note to the owner
That's
saying that he
the
has to
date.
file a new notice of intent.
that's what I was gonna say.
Cause this
Files
does
a new
seem,
one?
well, it
Yeah.
seems as though this is probably significantly different than the original,
Oh, no question.
given the amount of
Yeah.
wetland impact, so.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like the previous path. It looks like maybe they tried to go through the narrowest part of the wetland there,
They did.
and the new line is definitely worse in that aspect.
So it far exceeds the scope of work under policy and by floor, right?
Motion,
There's a motion on the floor to to tell them to file a new notice of
I'll
intent.
second that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
aye.
Opposed? So
Okay.
voted. Is there a motion to adjourn?
No,
No?
No, we gotta do the decision.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, Christine, I'm surprised anybody hasn't been,
well, no, I just want,
Is
Is there a game on, Ann?
They're still talking about the lineup before.
No, I have to go to another meeting, actually.
okay.
Oh,
I spoke to one of the St. Pierre's, Rod St. Pierre's son, about 70 Berlin Street in, I'm sorry, about 70 Berlin Street here in Auburn. And it was Jason St. Pierre, and I told him that we could not issue a certificate of compliance because it is an ongoing order of conditions for maintenance
for the sewer department.
for the sewer department.
Right.
So he apparently it took him, he understood that apparently the lender that he was doing the work for had requested a certificate of compliance, and he said he would explain it to him, so I do not believe it will be an issue any longer.
Okay, good. All right, when we have a decision to do for property on Millbury Street, Reliant Healthcare. Thank you for reminding me. And then decide if you want to lift the enforcement order.
No, I wouldn't lift the enforcement order until they comply with the order conditions.
I think the order of conditions should include a condition that specifies that every condition, every recommendation in Ecotech's letter of October 1 needs to be followed.
And I do not understand and will not accept why the plumbing company didn't know to file with us. You know, Reliant is not, I mean, it's a major corporation.
Yep.
So I don't accept that. I really don't. And I'm not inclined, just speaking solely for myself, to lift the enforcement order until they comply with the order conditions and follow every one of Ecotech's recommendations.
I'm inclined to agree with Mike.
Is someone inclined to issue an order of conditions?
Perhaps. I need the special orders though. I'm sorry. Oh, you brought it. Isn't that special? All right.
You didn't save that nice one I got you?
I did. It's my briefcase.
Oh, okay.
Seriously.
Oh, you can keep that one, that's extra.
I probably have like 20 copies of these scattered all over the place. All right. I would move to issue an order of conditions, stand order plus the following special conditions. 1, 2, I want to see an as-built. 3, they didn't propose any replication, did they?
No,
No.
Okay.
restoration though,
Restoration,
restoration work.
but not replication. 5, there's no riprap, is there?
I don't think so.
Okay. 8, 9, 11, 12, 13. And make the specific provision that, as Ann indicated, that all the recommendations made by Ecotech will be followed by the applicant, and that that the enforcement order will remain in effect until the order of conditions has been complied with, an as-built plan has been submitted, and the applicant files for a certificate of compliance.
Can we just include Ecotech's, because they were 2 letters, their letter of October 1 had all the recommendations in it.
Sure.
Okay, 10-1,
By reference.
okay.
Is there a second on that motion?
Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion on it? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So,
There's nothing else, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted, we are adjourned, thank you.